Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing on this evening? I thank you for tuning in. Whoever is watching me live or you're watching the replay, this is the place for you. I'm so thankful to be here as I always am because I'm grateful that I am able to see another day as always. But my name is Regina. I'm a holistic practitioner with sacred healing, mind, body, and soul. So I believe in the mind, the body, and the soul to flourish together as one. But I am talking about transformation and growth as the month of June is about transformation and growth. And I am literally putting in the work. But I wanted to share with you guys on tonight. Let me go to my comments. How you guys doing, everybody? How you doing, Cynthia Lewis? Good to see you this evening, sweetheart. I thank you for coming in. But yeah, we're in the month of June, transformation and growth. But I wanted to come on here too because it's very important to me to be an advocate for my people. And you know what? It's just so important that we thrive in our lives. And I always am mindful of, what people go through, different circumstances and everything. But you know what? There's got to come a time where we put aside all the pettiness, all the excuses, all the things that hinder us to thrive in our life. And what do you, when you're saying, well, what are you talking about, Regina? And I'm saying, well, you know what? When was the last time that you looked in the mirror and you said, you know what? I'm proud of myself. I am so proud of myself for the growth, for the transformation that you don't even recognize the old you. When was the last time that you actually looked yourself in the mirror, face to face, eyeballs to eyeballs, and asked, you know what, and say, I'm proud of myself? Because a lot of times, as people, we don't really see that. We'll find a lot of fault, we'll find a lot of flaws, and we won't even see our own greatness because we are so bound down with all the things that have come into our life. Well, I'm here to tell you there's hope because I was once there. I was once there that looked in the mirror and I didn't like what I see. I didn't like physically what I seen. I didn't like the person that I was becoming. I didn't even like my spiritual walk. Good evening, sis. How you doing, Angela? I didn't like any of that. So when I had a lot of dislikes about myself. And that's when I said, you know what? You have a whole lot of dislikes. Maybe it's time for you to start working on the things that you dislike. And I had to start there. I had to literally look deep. And that's the thing. We have to look deep within. I'm always saying you can't keep looking on the outside. You can't keep, running away from yourself, running away from your mistakes, running away from your failures. You cannot keep running away. You have to stand in it and be accountable for the things that you have done. See, I had to be accountable for the things that Regina had done. I had to take responsibility for the mishaps in my life. I had to take responsibility for the choices that I made. I had to take responsibilities of my life. I could point fingers of why this happened to me. I had to say, well, you know what? You had a choice in this. You had a say in this. You could have accepted it, or you could have said, this is not for me. But nobody has the power to control you to the point to where you lose yourself. That's a choice. That's a choice that you made. That's a choice that you said, you know what? I'm going to neglect myself. I am not going to put myself first. And I'm just going to say, you know what? The heck with it. But you'll find time for everything else. You'll find time for everybody. You'll find time to do this and that, but you won't find the time for yourself so you can grow, so you can transform into this beautiful person that you are. You got to believe that you're great. You got to believe that you are put on this earth for a purpose. If I was to go by my reality through my life, through my journey, through my path, I would have never in a million years would expect that I will be who I am today, where I am today, and walking in my purpose. It seems so far-fetched that I didn't even know that it was possible to be who I am today. Because if I was to stay in my past, stay in my mistakes, I would still be in that rut. But we have to get to the point where we break these curses over our life, because some things are just trickled and passed down because it's learned behavior. Some behaviors you've learned because you know what, this is what you were taught. Maybe this is a behavior that you were taught growing up, or something that you've seen. And you know what, not all of these characteristic traits that we've learned are good for us. They're just not a good fit. And so once I realized that, you know what, I am unique. I'm not like everybody else. I am different. I have a mind of my own. That's the thing, you guys. We have to start thinking for ourselves. A lot of times we are always looking on the outside for somebody to think for us, meaning looking for answers. You're asking their opinion, you're asking their advice, but never really just sitting in your own self and said, you know what, let me seek God for my life. Cynthia says, and you accept. Seek God for my own self and figure out what it is that I need to do for Regina, what it is that you need to do for you. Because if we continue to keep putting ourselves last, we keep procrastinating on what could better us in our life, whether it's in our finances, whether it's in our health, whether it's in our spiritual walk. There's got to come a time where you say, you know what, I'm tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of my body feeling like it's decrepit, it's old, it's unhealthy, it's painful. I had to get to that point. I experienced those things in my own body, but I only experienced those things in my own body because my mind wasn't in the right place. My mind was all over. My mind was here. My mind was there. My mind wasn't focused on what Regina needed. I wasn't fueling it so it could properly run. Well, what do you mean? Well, for one, what I was ingesting into my body wasn't healthy for me at all. So that's how I was experiencing all these things that I was going on, all these symptoms. I had symptom after symptom after symptom after symptom after symptom. And you know what? If you guys look at me now, you won't even believe the things that my body was being subjected to, because by my choice, by my choice. And so once I took control of that, once I invested the time to say, okay, Regina, it's time for you to love yourself, because that's self-care, that's self-love. When we don't show love to our own self, it shows up in how our moods are. It shows up in how we react to things. It shows up in our posture. It shows up on our face. Are you smiling? Are you glowing? Are you just mean mugging all day long? Or you have a bad attitude about life. And that's another thing. You have to speak life into yourself. A lot of times you hear people and they're so negative. And the more negative, you're speaking death. You're not speaking life. So I have to take control over that. This is what the month of June is transformation and growth. Do you want to grow? Because if you really want to grow and you really say, you know what, I love myself, I really love myself, then you will do what's best for you. You will take all action, not just talk, all action to do the right thing for yourself. And then you're going to show up. Do you show up for yourself? Or do you just make the excuse and say, well, I don't have time, I'm tired, I have this to do, I have that to do, but you don't make yourself a priority. So how do you expect to grow? How do you expect for transformation to come in your life? Because that's what it's about. We only get one life. We have an expiration date, you guys. You just don't know it. But are you living in the presence? Are you living in the past? Are you trying to seek the future, but you're forgetting about today? Because if you're forgetting about today, then you know what? You're saying, you know what? Today that God gave me breath in my body means nothing. You're not grateful. What happened to being grateful, having a grateful heart, being thankful for what you have? You may not have everything that you want. I'm not saying that your needs are not met, okay? Because for me, my needs are met. Everything else is a bonus. I got food, I got clothing, and I got a roof over my head, okay? Now, sometimes you be like, well, I don't got the clothes that I would like to wear, or I don't have the food that I would like to eat, or it's not the roof that I would like. Well, you know what? You're taken care of. So we got to be grateful and thankful for what God has given us, because this comes in too. What kind of a steward over are your life? Have you stewarded your life to the point to where God is pleased? How do you steward your finances? Do you just blow money? Do you overspend? Do you spend and not take care of responsibility? Are you a good stewardship over your body? Do you just abuse it any old kind of way? Are you have a good stewardship over your spiritual walk? Or are you just neglected? Because the time that we have here, the days are short. As if you can, have you already noticed how the times are moving fast? And what it is that you're doing in this time is important. If you're ready for growth and transformation, then it's time to step out of the comfort zone and be committed to you. I know you have dreams. We all do. But how do we get to those dreams? Well, we must show up. Number one, we must walk by faith and not by sight, meaning that everything else that's going on around us should not be able to manipulate your emotions to do what God has called you to do with inside of you. So you should all, if you look within and you get to know who you are and whose you are, then you know your purpose. But you question, like, what is my purpose in life? Well, you know what? You haven't looked within. You're too busy looking and trying to mimic and copycat everybody else's life instead of saying, you know what? Let me sit down. Let me evaluate what's going on and let me get to know myself. You'd be surprised of how much of yourself has been lost due to neglect. So this month, the month of June, don't shortchange yourself. Show up. Show up in everything, in every area of your life. You need to write down. See, I keep a notebook. I have tons of them, but I'm always having something and I'm jotting. It may not make sense. Okay? I got things in here jotted that just numerous things. And I'm going to show you because it's kind of crazy. But I have stuff like this. I'll just jot. Right? Then I'll go back. I'll just jot. And I'll go back. I'm trying to show you. And I'll just jot. Because it may just come to mind at that time. And I don't want to forget it. But then I'll go through it and I'll revisit it. And my spirit will recognize what I was bringing forth. And then it makes sense to me, you guys. I said, thank you, Lord. Thank you for allowing me to get it out, put it on paper. And when I go back, it could be a day, it could be a week, it could even be a month when I decide to keep going through this. But I have to get it out because I have to manifest it out. So if there's anything that's not of you that needs to be put out, put it out. Don't keep it inside, because what it does is it manifests inside and it doesn't get released, whether it's good or whether it's bad. We must release it. Okay? Transformation and growth. Well, how do I do this? It seems like, it may be complicated. It's not that complicated. We make things complicated. We overthink things. We're trying to understand this. We're trying to understand this. But what does the Bible say? Lean not unto your own understanding. So why do I continue to keep trying to understand my ways when my ways should be God's ways? Cynthia says, I do the same thing. Yes. Okay. Let me correction. I used to overthink everything. I don't do that no more. You know what I do? I trust the process now because I know that I'm not in control of anything. I control nothing. And once I realized that I didn't control nothing, there's when the peace came upon me. Because you know what? I totally surrendered. I said, you know what, God? I can't carry these burdens. I can't carry all these worries. All it's doing is weighing me down. All it's doing is giving me a headache. All it's doing is keeping me up at night. All it's doing is having me question my worth, my value. When all along, all I had to do was surrender. You know, you know when your moods are off because you could be happy literally within a minute's time. All of a sudden, you feel a shift, and you can feel that, man, why do I feel like I'm feeling anxious? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that I feel that I just can't rest? My soul can't rest. I can't rest. I'm up at night. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about this. And then when I get up, I'm exhausted because I really haven't slept. And then during the day, you're thinking about this, you're thinking about that, and then you start missing things. Then you start being forgetful. It's because you're putting too much garbage in your own head when it's not supposed to be there. When I tell you, when you allow yourself to be set free, mentally free, because everything starts up here. Once we get this right, this is why I'm always talking about the mind. Because once we get the mind right, everything else trickles down. Your health, your spirituality, mind, body, and soul. We started with the mind, body, and soul. We got to get the mind right first. If the mind is not right, everything else is going to be out of place. You can't have just one and not the other two. It has to be in harmony with each other. You have to be in alignment with each other. You have to have a divine connection. Where's my divine connection? With you and the Most High God. That's the divine connection. Not man, not woman, not things, not substances. Those are not divine connections. Those are things that to distract you. So now let's talk about, okay, so I'm working on my transformation and I'm working on my growth. That means that you're going to set aside everything that is hindering you. You know what's hindering you because you're doing it to yourself. Don't blame nobody. Let's stop the blame. Things happen to us. I'm not saying that I'm not sympathetic because I've had things that happen to me, traumatizing things, some things that, people wouldn't be able to even endure. But did I stay there? No. Did I try? Yes. But I didn't like myself. Why? Because it made me angry. You know what? When a person has a rage and anger inside of them, it comes out. Mine was very, it wasn't great. I had extremely anger issues and I would snap just like that. It didn't take nothing for me to snap. You could look at me a wrong way and I was already like, what you looking at? And I mean, like, if somebody could just be staring at me and I'd be like, you got a problem? And it was things like that. Somebody's mood or the way their tone would get me to where I was like, oh, okay, and I would have a reaction. Or if an incident would happen, I would react quick out of anger. And that was the only way that I knew at the time how to respond because I had all this festered up inside of me, all this anger, all this unhappiness, all this trauma, all this, I didn't feel good with who I was. And that starts to trickle out of us, you guys. That's not growth. You're dying. But when you come into a place where you have peace, where you don't allow things to hinder you. You don't allow things to manipulate your emotions in a negative way. You don't allow somebody else's problems to take over you. We have to detox, you guys, in every way. We have to detox our mind. We have to detox our body. We have to detox our soul. It's a must. There has to be a cleansing process. Okay? You don't know what garbage you have in you. You don't even know who you are because you have all this inside of you and you think that this is just who you are. In reality, this is not who you are. It's time to find who you are. It's time to find the real person. And once I did that, let me tell you what, I am at a place in my life where there's nothing but peace. Now, don't get me wrong, like there's things that go on that aggravate me. There's things that happen that I'm displeased with. But does it shake me? Does it move me? No, I'm actually unbothered because now I'm operating in a calmness. I'm operating in the supernatural power of the Most High God. What do you mean? Well, I know that I don't have to carry this. I know that I don't have to deal with the situation because vengeance is the Lord's. Because once you get, and I'm not trying to say you got to be deep, okay? I'm not even saying that. I'm talking about a spiritual person. I'm not talking about a religious person, a traditional person. I'm talking about a spiritual person who has a divine connection to the Most High God. That once you even think it, once you pray about it, and once you speak it into existence, it shall be done. And I'm not saying that you speak out of your emotions and vengeance and anger and all. No, I'm talking about God, you know what? I need you to fix this. Because I know my old me, if I fix it, I'm going to destroy it. But if you fix it, not only do you fix the situation for me, you're doing the work on that individual, that circumstance, whatever it is. And you must believe it, that it's already done. So once I started to do these things, little by little, I'm not saying it happened overnight because it didn't happen overnight. I put a lot of work in to where I'm at today. I put a lot of sweat. I put a lot of tears. I put a lot of work in to be at a place where I'm at today. And that's why I'm sharing. This is why I'm such an advocate for health and wellness, because I know I've been there. I've been where I used to say, gosh, I wish I could just feel better. Man, I wish I was at this point in my life. But was I doing anything about it? Or was I just complaining? Or was I just looking from afar? Was I just hoping? Was I just, oh, this may never happen for me. Well, how do you know if you don't try? If you never try, how do you know? Do you just give up that easy? Do you just throw in the towel that easy from whatever life throws you? Oh, we're going to be thrown things, guys. We're going to have stones thrown at us. We're going to have situations that, what should break us. But do we just get up? No, you don't give up. You never give up. You keep striving. You keep going. Because as long as you have breath in your body, anything is possible. Your heart might be broken. Okay? It will heal. You will live again. You might have a sickness in your body. Okay? You're not your diagnosis. You will be healed. That's how I think. Oh, I've been given a diagnosis. Okay? A serious diagnosis. But I didn't believe it. Why? Because I'm not my diagnosis. Thank you for the information. I appreciate it. I hear what you're saying. I understand where you're trying to go. to the best of your knowledge and understanding of what you're telling me. But my God has the last say so. And because who I am and my spiritual walk, I can't accept this. This is not my destiny. This is not my purpose to hold on to this sickness in my body. Why? Because I have too many things that I have to do. I'm not ready to throw in the towel. I'm not ready to give in what they're saying. I'm not ready for that. And just like I was saying this morning on the Powered Morning Show, lace up. It's game time. And that's what it was. I had to say, lace up, Regina. It's game time, baby. You've been sitting on the bench way too long. It's time to prepare yourself. What you been doing? Have you preparing yourself? Have you been training for this day? And once I took the challenge and said, you know what? I will no longer let life beat me down. I will no longer let situations beat me down. I will no longer let people beat me down. You will no longer let these situations affect you. It's a mindset. Whatever a man thinketh, so he is. So what are you thinking right now about yourself? How do you think about yourself is how it's going to be. I don't think anything less of myself. I think, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm conceited, but I'm confident. I'm confident because you know what? The things that I had to go through to get to here. Yeah, I'm confident. There's a price to pay for me to be here. My life was at stake many times. I just spoke in a women's conference. I had to speak life when I was faced with death. Literally. And that was the best subject for me because literally my life was faced with death. But I had to speak life into me when I was depressed and didn't see no way out. I had to speak life into myself, even though I was looking at my reality and my reality is looking like, you know what, there's no hope for you. You're always going to be in this rut. You made these bad choices in your life and they're going to follow you for the rest of your life. If I was to allow society to dictate where Regina would have been, I would have been, because I already had point after point after point after point checked off that would have said, you're not going to be successful in anything that you do. Oh, yeah. I had a lot of checks. Check, 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 check. And they were all negative. Why? Because of the circumstances, because some of the choices that I made. Some of them were, were out of my control. But I didn't allow it to break me. Do you hear what I'm saying? I had to keep pushing for, I know it's painful. I know you're tired. I know you know that you feel that nobody cares. I know you may feel unworthy and unvalued. I know that you may feel that nobody understands you. I know that you've been loyal and somebody has been disloyal. I know that, your love that you've shown and given to people, you have not received it. Yeah, we will face those things. I know you may have lost a loved one. I know you may have sicknesses in your body, but you have breath in your body. And this month, in June, allow yourself to grow and transform into this beautiful person that you are. Let's get our mindset right, guys. Let's develop new habits that will benefit you. If it's not profiting, I'm not talking financially, profiting you in your mind and your body and your soul to where you thrive as a person in every area of your life. Okay? Show up for yourself. You must. You might be saying, well, you know what? I can't even pay my bills. I don't even have enough money in the bank. I'm overdrafted. I can't even afford to barely eat. I can't even afford to put gas. There can be so many number of things. Been there, done that. I'm trying to tell you. Been there, done that. Okay? There's hope. Always hope. There's always a new day. Every day that the sun rises is a new day for a new beginning. And you must embrace it that way. You may feel that you've lost, but you haven't. You won. You must say it to yourself. I'm not my reality. I don't see it. As they say, I walk by faith, not by sight. I always have to walk by faith, not by sight. I can't sit there and dwell on anything because it's negative energy that you don't need. So I just want to encourage you guys on tonight. Take some time out for yourself. Love yourself enough to treat yourself the way that you need to be. One thing at a time. Write it down. One thing at a time. What do you need to prioritize first? And start there. And once you start there and you feel a little bit better, start on the next thing. And once you feel that you've reached, start on the next thing. Because you're going to grow daily. You should be growing daily. If you're not growing daily, you're dying. Growing in something. How do you feed your mind? What is it that you're doing? For me, I'm always in a place of learning. I'm always trying to learn something that I didn't know yesterday. So we're going to thrive in the month of June. We're going to have transformation and growth. That's all you need to be saying. I'm going to grow and I'm going to transform. I'm going to grow and I'm going to transform. I'm going to grow and I'm going to transform. That's it. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. My time is out, so I must go. I hate to leave, but I have to because I got to be obedient to the time. But until next time, have a beautiful evening. Love you guys. Bye-bye.